Washington Post, New York Times, and the Wall Street Journal reported yesterday that Mitch McConnell was saying that he did not have the votes to be able to stop the call for witnesses. And let me put it to you this way, I've been saying this now for the past 3 months. If they have witnesses, if they get the 51 senators who say have witnesses, and they call witnesses, they're going to vote to convict Giuliani. And here's the reason why. Everybody knows he's guilty. They're trying their best, and probably some people know he's he's an awful person, but they're trying their best to protect him and to protect the integrity of the Republican Party. And then there are a lot of people, maybe 40 million of the 63 million people that voted for Trump really need him to be their voice at this time of racial demographics change in America. They may very well need him. And there could be some sympathy that will be given towards Trump if he gets impeached. I mean, people don't like him, but I don't know if they want to see him impeached. But I can tell you this, that the senators are going to be, because they're people who have only their own political interests at heart. And their thing is this, is that there's a whole lot of stuff that's going to come out in that Bolton book with respect to the Mueller report, with respect to Russia, Vladimir Putin, all that Bolton knows about it. And when all that stuff starts happening, if they say no witnesses, then the entire Republican Party and all those senators are going to go down the drain. Like somebody called Roto-Rooter. And I mean, it's going to be awesome watching them. It's going to be like Ross Perot said, that big sucking sound is what you're going to hear out of Washington. You're going to hear Republicans sucked out of Capitol Hill, like that sucking sound that Ross Perot talked about. Or now somebody called Roto-Rooter. It's going to be something. So if they get witnesses, and then this trial's going on for another 10 years, because Trump has done so much, I'd have to go down there and say, wait a minute, we've had enough of this. Anyway, by the way, I believe that boy Joe Biden is dirtier than a pair of dirty socks from an ex-convict working on the chain gang in Florida. Or a convict working on the chain gang. No, that boy Biden, and say his son was getting paid $83,000 a month for something, working for the Burisma Energy Company, and the boy don't know nothing about energy. He don't know nothing about it. He just sitting on the board getting paid. I'm upset. I'm ticked off. Both Joe Biden, and he got the job because of his daddy. His daddy, Joe Biden, was vice president at the time. His son, Hunter Biden, got a job. I mean, how would you like to? I mean, most people don't make $83,000 in 2 years. This boy was getting paid $83,000 a month for 2 years, doing nothing, right? That's what they call nepotism and political cronyism. And I'm upset. I don't like Joe Biden no way. You like Joe Biden? I don't like Joe Biden. I don't like none of them Democrats. I don't. So, Pastor, man, you're a man of God. You're supposed to listen. Now that's it. Oh, so now I'm a man of God. I say, when I ask you for the tithe and offering, all of a sudden I'm a con man. No, I ask you for, I tell you, now I'm supposed to be a man of God, right? I see. Oh, I see who you are. Anyway, Mr. Engineer, go ahead and roll that clip I was talking about. Go roll it. Go ahead.
A book manuscript by former National Security Advisor John Bolton is reported to contend that President Trump told Bolton he wanted to withhold military aid to Ukraine until the country helped with investigations into Joe Biden and the Democrats. Now senators face more pressure to call witnesses, starting with Bolton. The president's supporters on Capitol Hill and elsewhere are discounting this development, calling it a last-minute leak without context or backing. Chief White House correspondent John Roberts begins our coverage live from the North Lawn. Good evening, John.
Brett, good evening to you. It was another classic 11th hour bombshell, just as the president's legal team was hoping to put impeachment to bed in the Senate trial, comes a revelation that could blow the call for witnesses and the trial itself wide open. Meeting with Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu in advance of tomorrow's release of a Middle East peace plan, President Trump today brushed off the claims reported to be in John Bolton's forthcoming book.
What's your response to the Bolton manuscript, and does this increase the chances he could be called to testify?
Well, I haven't seen a manuscript, but I can tell you nothing was ever said to John Bolton, but I have not seen a manuscript. I guess he's writing a book. I have not seen it.
According to a report in the New York Times, Bolton claims President Trump told him in August that $391 million in aid to Ukraine was on hold until President Zelensky announced investigations into the Bidens. In the Oval Office today, another denial.
What about the allegations that the Bolton made? False.
On Twitter this morning, the president went further, tweeting, "I never told John Bolton that the aid to Ukraine was tied to investigations into Democrats, including the Bidens. In fact, he never complained about this at the time of his very public termination. If John Bolton said this, it was only to sell a book." At the end of December, Bolton submitted a draft manuscript to the National Security Council to be vetted for possible classified information. The New York Times report came out just as advanced sales of the book opened up. Bolton and his publisher denied any connection in a statement saying there was absolutely no coordination with the New York Times or anyone else regarding the appearance of information about his book, The Room Where It Happened, at online booksellers. Any assertion to the contrary is unfounded speculation. Speculation has also swirled as to how the manuscript was leaked. Breitbart reported that Yevgeny Vindman, the twin brother of Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, is in charge of reviewing all publications by current and former NSC officials. Sources tell Fox News Vindman has told colleagues he was not involved in the Bolton review. But there appears to have been a close hold on the manuscript, the National Security Council insisting no White House personnel outside NSC have reviewed the manuscript. And an aide to Bolton disputed claims by the New York Times that Bolton had shared the manuscript with other associates, telling Fox News he didn't give copies to anyone else, and that the Times reporting he shared the manuscript with others is false. And given what the White House is calling the journalistic furor over these new allegations, the vice president's office took the rare step of revealing the contents of a conversation that the vice president had with President Trump just before the vice president went to Poland to meet with the Ukrainian President Zelensky, saying at no time did I hear him tie aid to Ukraine to investigations into the Biden family or Burisma. But the vice president saying that the president was concerned about the lengthy record of corruption in Ukraine and the fact that the United States was pulling the lion's share of the burden when it came to aid to Ukraine. Brett?
John Roberts, live in the North.
I think that one of the things that you ought to be cognizant of here is that Trump may lose Mitch McConnell as a partner in defending him or using the Senate as a protection process against the impeachment. And McConnell has that kind of power. You know, he can, let's say a senator like Susan Collins up in Maine will say, you know, listen, I'm in a pretty much liberal district, but I got some Republican conservative support. But if Trump comes up to campaign against me, I'm toast. And Mitch McConnell could say, well, first of all, I can give you, I can give you $50 or $100 million. Just stay where you are. I give you enough money to buy the election in Maine, even though Trump comes up there. And I can lessen Trump's effect in Maine with $100 million. They say, okay, all right, I'll vote, no witnesses. But I think that where Trump may be losing Mitch McConnell, based on what I saw happening yesterday, reading between the lines, is that Mitch McConnell and John Thune and Kevin McCarthy and a bunch of other Republicans are saying, if Trump knew back in December the 30th that this book would have that information in it that John Bolton was saying, that Trump did say hold the aid until Zelensky opened an investigation, or at least announced an opening an investigation into the Bidens, and didn't tell Mitch McConnell that, let this go on for nearly a month, left Mitch McConnell in the dark to get blindsided by this bombshell of information. And the senators as well, who are protecting Trump, Trump didn't let them in on the fact that this was coming. If they had known, they could have been prepared for it. So I think what we may see now is a lot of senators are going to say, what else would he do to us? I mean, he let us look like we were idiots. He should have told us on the day he found out that Bolton had written this book and had made that statement about the withholding aid to Ukraine. Immediately, Mitch McConnell should have been the second person that found out, and the Republican senators should have known. And this is going on for a month, and Trump didn't tell him. And they're looking at Trump, and they know he's untrustworthy. They know he's unfit. They know he's got a lot of problems. But if he is now causing them to look even more stupid than they actually do look, then they may be ready to walk away from him. Because the next conclusive thing to conclude is that what else is in that book about Trump? May not be about the Zelensky Ukraine, but 500 pages. What 500 pages of? Well, that's got to be and it's all about Trump's White House, and most probably about Fox News as well. You're probably going to see some stuff in there about Sean Hannity. You're going to probably see some about Kellyanne. Some demeaning stuff about Kellyanne Conway. You might even see something in there about Jeffrey Epstein, who I just reported to you ain't dead. He's living over there in Tel Aviv, flying back and forth between Buenos Aires. Boy, ain't dead. 500 pages of in the room where it happened. Actually, that book should be called In the Toilet Where It Happened. That's what it should be called, In the Toilet Where It Happened. So Mitch McConnell may be recounting his ducks and saying, wait a minute, we better let this boy go now because every day a shoe gonna drop. You know, somebody said that Trump got more shoes in his car than Imelda Marcos, that woman from over the Philippines from years ago. Had like 3 million pairs of shoes. And they may make a decision to cut bait here and now and just let it all hang out because Trump's life is dirty. The boy's dirty. And he's dirty, and he's always been dirty. He's been dirty all his life. He's just dirty. And the stuff that's going to come out about prostitutes, about rape, about money, about cutting deals with people like, Kim Jong-un, and who knows what's going to come out, that Bolton, who was a national security officer. You know what I think? I'll tell you what I think. I'll tell you what. I believe the reason why Trump slammed the intelligence agencies is because the intelligence agencies got the goods on that boy about his pandering around over there with Vladimir Putin and his sexual escapades over there or wherever he goes. I believe they got the goods on that boy. And so he just said, whatever they're intelligent, all 17 of them, they wrong. It's fake news. But John Bolton, check this out. John Bolton, right, was the national security director. He got all the information. And he's written a book, 500 pages. This thing is gonna get, we're gonna have a hot summer. I can tell you that right now. But the other thing is that, if they have witnesses, I don't have this as a word from the Lord, but if they have witnesses, I'm willing to bet, not my seat in heaven, I ain't gonna bet that. I'm willing to bet my iPhone. I'm willing to bet my Apple computer. I do have an Apple, by the way. I'm willing to bet my Apple computer that Trump will get convicted if they have witnesses. Because it's gonna get so ugly. People are gonna start coming in and telling everything. He may survive this, but I think that the fact that, you see, you need to if you're doing dirty deals like what Trump did with Bolton, and he knew that Trump should have told Mitch McConnell, listen, Mitch, Bolton's gonna come out and he's gonna say some words against me, but don't worry about it, And Bolton said, okay, well, we know the white mustache guy, he's, we watch him. But the fact that Trump didn't tell Mitch McConnell about that is insulting to Mitch and insulting to the rest of the senators. And by the way, let me tell you something. That Mitt Romney boy, Witness Protection Program, Romney talking about he wants to vote, he wants Trump out of office so bad. Trump beat him, made a fool out of him. He called Trump a con man, remember? Trump called him, and Mitt choked up, and he lost the election to Obama. And then Mitt met with Trump here in New York City at a restaurant where they had some buffalo wings or something like that. And Mitt hates Trump, so he definitely he's trying to get everybody else to vote against him. But I think the wheels are coming off the wagon, quite frankly, if you ask me. And if you ask me, you're asking the person that knows. I'm probably the only person that knows, except Jesus, that it's all over for the boy. Can I get a witness? If they get witnesses, then people are gonna start talking, saying stuff that you thought you'd never hear before. I think a lot of people, however, may feel sympathy for Trump. Imagine that. and may feel sympathy for, I used to run with a lot of these trumpeters, these Trump people. I feel sympathy for them because they got played. They got played like a $10 whore on 42nd Street in the 1960s. Where they gonna go? They can't show their face anywhere anymore. A Trump supporter, he let you down. So I'm gonna come back in just a few moments and let you know I still love America. I don't know any place else other than America as my home. I'm gonna ask the engineer to take me to a break, and then after I come back, I'm gonna come back with my love for America. But it's on. It is on now. This is a bit of a news blog we do, looking at spiritual wickedness in high places for the most part, making some observations about it and giving people a biblical foundation to the way of interpreting, rather than have Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham or Janine Pirro or Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon, Rush Limbaugh interpret what's going on in the world. You come to me and I'll tell you based on what the Word of God says. They'll just give you their worldly, sinful view. But the Manning Report will tell you what God has said, whether to say yea or nay, whether to go or to stay. You'll be led by the word of Almighty God. Come to the Manning Report on a daily basis to interpret the spiritual wickedness in high places, because there's plenty of it that's going on. And so I'm the Lord's servant, James David Righteous Rebel Manning, and I'm here to serve you with news and information. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus is a healer. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. All right, praise Almighty God.